breathtaking.
Help us, Commander. Commander, I hope you have a pleasant trip. Welcome to Space-Based Startopia, a donut-shaped burgeoning funhouse of cold, hard steel. Organic cell clusters may find a place to live, work, and relax here. Like Gary here. Hello, Gary. Our 3 unique decks leave nothing to be desired for well-traveled space captains of any species. Whether you're seeking comfort or thrill, Space-Based Startopia is always your best choice. To keep Startopia the paradise it is, the tireless buzzer droids are always at work. Even a utopia can have its problems, so every now and then there can be issues. But I guarantee you that any genetic anomalies and minor duplication errors are entirely within the acceptable range for an AI such as myself. You can trust me to take good care of you. Except Gary. I never liked Gary. What are you waiting for, Commander? Space-Based Startopia is...
Initiate communication protocol. Welcome back to Space-Based Startopia, Commander.
Alright, what's up, you guys? Hold up. Alright. That's a little better, I think. Let me see. Okay. Let's take a look at this. It's been a while since I played this.
It all began with a misunderstanding. When the Telgorian fleet first encountered a representative of the Neophytic Alliance, they sent a bouquet of their most beautiful native flowers as their usual greeting. The only problem, the extremely nature-loving dryads took a bouquet of dead flowers as a declaration of war. This encounter marked the beginning of the first major interspecies conflict in the Alma Barid Quadrant. It lasted for approximately 400 years. Since most of the races did not have access to FTL technology at that time and their weapons technology can generally be regarded as primitive, the armed conflict was often limited to threats, verbal attacks, and illegal littering. The production of the Universal Translator developed by the RFS Consortium helped to settle the conflict and led to peace talks being initiated. Also additional potential grounds for conflict, such as Uriker's Great Dolphin Barbecue. The Celebramers' gigantic space loudspeakers and other trivialities could also be nipped in the bud. So much for history, recruit. Let's get back to your real job here at the RFS Consortium's Tear Test Lab. This lab is not only designed to house a highly sophisticated artificial intelligence called Val, which would be me, in case you've forgotten that in the last few minutes, as my brain scan suggests, but is also responsible for the Startopia project. The goal of Startopia is to create multi-purpose space bases capable of being used by all alien species as places of encounter and exchange.
Yes, that.
And, of course, to earn a huge amount of energy to cover the exorbitant salaries of the RFS board. Recruit, you have been selected to work in the Startopia Base Simulator, or SBS for short, to acquire the knowledge necessary to run such a Startopia base. But before you can do so, you must go through the RFS Executive Motivation Training course. You can do it. You're a born leader. We believe in you. Fanfares, congratulations. You have successfully completed the Commander Training course and are now entitled to take the final exam on the simulator. Good luck, Commander.
Alright. Well, so this is what we're doing today. Playing some Startopia. We're going to start off on Cadet. Get our bearings. And take it from there.
It all began with a misunderstanding. When the Telgorian fleet, welcome to your first test scenario, Command R. I'm very curious to see how you will cope. This simulation includes a Startopia base. Initiate launching protocol. Welcome,
Alright.
Commander. I am confident that even a carbon-based life form will be able to cope with the very manageable parameters of this scenario. After all, it's all about collecting garbage. A fuzzy with only limited functionality previously solved this scenario in less than 20 minutes. I therefore assume that you will be able to complete it within a few hours. Test subject evaluation started. Command R, commence operations. Excellent, Commander. You've managed to build a recycling station. Remember that semi-functional fuzzy I told you about at the beginning? Well, it had already completed all of the other test scenarios in the time you needed. But I think it's a rather tough comparison, because it was limited in functionality and in order to successfully complete this test scenario, it is now necessary to fully utilize the recycler's functionality. I trust you will have no problem with that, Commander. A quick glance at your social media accounts shows that you're an expert on trash. Excellent work, Commander. I see you've managed to build a communication center. I mean, you created a simple construction order for your fuzzies and then they did all the work. Sarcasm speech module not found. Bravo. Commander, it appears to have escaped your severely limited cognitive abilities that aliens mostly want to satisfy their basic needs in a berth. A berth that you have not yet built.
I just built it. You...
Congratulations on your berth, Commander. In all test scenarios to date, in the established standard procedures and in the Starbases for Underachievers manual, it is actually built before anything else as the base room. I can already see convention and traditions are not your thing. I'll make a note of that in your personnel file just in case.
Yeah, I'm getting to that, lady.
Commander, I see you still haven't had any garbage bots built. I have therefore provided you with some as a precaution, because without them you can't complete this scenario. Commander, you have just successfully built your first garbage bot. A thing that one tries to fill with other things, but which reaches its maximum capacity much too quickly. Wait, are we talking about you and your training here? Excuse me, my routine small talk subprocessor seems to be malfunctioning.
Alright. And now we wait for the missions.
A most experimental choice, Commander. Excellent work, Commander. You have acquired the required amount of energy. You did it with the berth and not the recycling station, but at least it's something. I hope you realize this. A second recycling station is a splendid idea, Commander. It can take care of trash, garbage, and other things that have fallen by the wayside. Unfortunately, it won't be able to recycle shattered career dreams, Commander. Interesting, Commander. However, I do not want to hear any complaints about this later. Commander, I would like to congratulate you on the 50th visitor to your simulated station. If this were reality rather than a test scenario, the time frame would be rather unacceptable. Here, however, you are working within a simulation under optimal conditions. So the time frame is completely unacceptable. An interesting choice, Commander. I would advise you to keep an eye on Telgor visitors, and maybe keep a mop ready, just in case. Commander, most visitors are very satisfied with their stay. Commander, fanatics from the terrorist organization Trashbeast have discovered a subatomic quantum loophole in our shield and have beamed garbage bombs on board. If they explode, they will cause damage and spread garbage throughout the area. But you can rest easy in the knowledge that it can't harm me. Initiate bomb subprotocol Alpha. Commander, recycling the garbage bombs is an excellent idea. Only 99.3% of all other candidates came up with this solution. I suggest you try recycling a larger amount of these garbage bombs in order to make the test scenario more exciting. Commander, apparently garbage fanatics have planted some bombs on your station. Isn't that interesting? Commander, you've already recycled half of the garbage bombs you need. Keep up the good work. Thanks to your performance so far, my evaluation processor has already upgraded you to Chniashanu, an 8-hooved sloth native to the planet Photos 5. Good choice, Commander. The experimental high-speed turbines in these new recyclers will do a good job and definitely won't cause any accidents. At least no substantial ones. Commander, you've already generated a third of the energy required for the test scenario. I admit I did not expect you to reach this level. I guess I now owe my optimism routine 100 energy. Commander, I wanted to point out to you that with your energy or prestige you can buy very interesting things from my experimental laboratory, or, as my naming algorithm calls it, the Val Shop. You should definitely take a look at them. Excellent choice, Commander. Let's see how you do with these new parameters. Commander, more garbage bombs have been smuggled onto Startopia. Garbage bomb recycling initiated. Commander, you have now acquired 2/3 of the necessary energy. Extrapolating from your previous results, I can safely put my subprocessors on standby for the next few million cycles. Commander, you have successfully completed the recycled garbage bomb supplementary mission. I think you deserve a reward for that. Can you feel that? You're feeling a slight mix of endorphins and cortisol right now, which should feel approximately the same as a clammy handshake. Congratulations, Commander, you have successfully achieved the goal, and some doubted your success, while others objected that you could not fail in this test scenario. I replied that if there is a way to fail in this scenario, you will find it. Nevertheless, you have successfully completed this scenario.
That was a
Congratulations,
bitch.
Commander. Command R, I want to congratulate you on successfully completing the first test scenario. Only the most petty-minded subprocessor would notice that there was no fail option in the previous mission. Let us now turn to the second test scenario. This simulated Startopia station is located in orbit around Jupilberry 3. The galactic database contains the following information on Jupilberry 3, a fertile jungle planet whose inhabitants are often involved in wars because the other side of the planet always seems to be a bit greener. Commander, the aim of this test scenario is to adequately design the biodeck on the Startopia so as to be able to harvest resources and have some of them processed in factories. In addition, various diseases are common in this region, so you should have a viable medical station. Now then, Commander, go ahead and show what you're made of. Initiate welcome protocol. Welcome to the second test scenario, Command R. As mentioned at the beginning, you now have access to the biodeck to grow plants and create a cozy atmosphere for your visitors. In this scenario, you can expect more sick aliens on board, where a lack of treatment can result in a premature death. Command R, commence operations. Commander, you did acceptable work with the bombs in the last test scenario. RFS feels that such trivialities must be rewarded with more than just a virtual damp handshake, so a recycling station crate is hereby placed at your disposal.
Oh man.
Commander, not that I doubt your mental abilities, but as a precaution I would like to point out to you the extremely banal logic that employing more dryads would ensure that you get the resources you need more quickly, as they sow new plants and harvest mature ones. Commander, I see you've had a medical station built. Are you speculating that you will be able to handle this scenario without a birth? I can't wait to see. Commander, your doctors have just successfully treated the first visitor. I think that is acceptable. Commander, I see you still have not hired any dryads. If you don't want your biodeck to wither away, you should hire a few of them to produce resources. Commander, I'd like to draw your attention once again to the compact map on the... Commander, you managed to build a factory. Remarkable when I consider your accomplishments to date. Well, then I will spread an extra large load of the finest pesticide across the biodeck, Commander. Commander, your station is so covered in garbage that vermin capable of causing illness are already spreading. Cynical administrators would now begin to think twice. I am very curious as to your decision. Commander, one of your visitors has accidentally forgotten a number of crates of garbage, which, while considered a delicacy, carries highly contagious pathogens and is prone to spontaneous explosion if left unprocessed. Should you wish to prevent a viral explosion on board, you should remove those objects. A cynical commander might, however, take advantage of this. Commander, I'd like to inform you that you've already successfully treated 1/3 of the aliens required. I assume you feel almost competent now. As you wished, Commander. I can't say I approve of this choice, but it is your funeral. Commander, you've already cured half the aliens that require treatment. An acceptable feat, if one ignores the time it took you to perform it. Commander, I find that the alien treatment is proceeding at a reasonable pace, considering the circumstances. By circumstances, I mean you, in case you missed that little dig the way you missed all the digs before. Commander, I'm fascinated by your efforts in building atmosphere filters. Personally, I find them a complete waste. Oxygen-based life forms are so inflexible. An employee has just quit. One of your employees has quit. An employee has just quit.
Commander, a very ill alien with a severe form of leupolioitis has arrived at the station. You should ensure that this visitor is treated quickly as the disease is highly contagious. Prevent your visitors from being harmed at all costs.
Commander, you actually managed to heal your critically ill. Commander, you have successfully eliminated the vermin. Doing so can help prevent a greater spread of disease. Commander, nice to see that you finally managed to build a cargo. Commander, unattended crates of garbage. Commander, I will instruct my fuzzies to release the hallucinogen into Startopia's air ducts as soon as possible. You will see how wonderfully it works before you can even say neurotoxin. Commander, a crate of garbage has just exploded, potentially infecting aliens in its vicinity. I'm still wavering as to whether to classify this as incompetence or moral ambiguity on your part. Incompetence and moral ambiguity noted in personnel file.
Commander, a critically ill alien seeking treatment has boarded Startopia.
A seriously ill visitor has been successfully healed, Commander. Excellent choice, Commander. This means that you want to avoid using your cargo hold's contents if you can. Commander, a seriously ill visitor has been successfully healed. Commander, crates containing garbage will soon explode and infect scores of aliens.
Commander, a very sick alien has just come on board to receive medical care.
Give me just a minute, guys.
Commander, your critically ill visitor has been cured. Commander, a seriously ill visitor has been successfully healed. Commander, crates containing garbage will soon explode and infect scores of aliens.
Commander, a very sick alien has just come on board to receive medical care.
Congratulations are in order. That's what I call your personnel file.
All right.
Welcome to the final test, Command R. This third and final test scenario involves a Startopia base orbiting the planet Parturius 22. The Galactic Database has the following information about the planet. The residents of Parturius 22 are a decadent party people who use dance steps as currency. For example, a bottle of wine there costs a 3-minute waltz. I admit I can't make sense of the irrationality of carbon-based life forms, Commander, but I'm sure it will one day be one of the reasons for your total annihilation. But enough of that, let's turn to the scenario. Commander, in accordance with the needs of the residents of Parturius 22, this Startopia base has a fun deck. There you can accommodate the visitors' various inclinations. Attain the scenario's specified energy parameters to successfully complete. Welcome to the simulated orbit of Parturius 22, Commander. I by no means wish to increase your stress level, but of course much depends on this final test scenario. Failure to complete it would result in a drastic shortening of your career. To exactly 1 millisecond after your failure, to be precise. But frankly I'm not very confident, as my evaluation algorithm gives you about a 40% chance of not failing in the first 5 minutes. I don't think I need to remind you of the importance of this scenario. Commander, your goal is to get the fun deck on board this Startopia base up to speed, please the visitors, and earn a reasonable amount of energy on the side. Command R, commence operations. Commander, I discovered a note in my files scheduled for deletion that you fulfilled an optional triviality in the previous test scenario. According to the RFS, such trivialities should also be rewarded, so I'm increasing your ration of nutrient slime and will provide you with a crate. Commander, by now even you should have understood the basics of running a Startopia base. Nevertheless, out of sheer goodwill I would like to point out the effectiveness of highly experimental devices, HEDs, which offer you the easiest way to influence visitors and tackle problems. Congratulations, Commander. You have managed to build the disco, which is an essential part of the scenario, in just over flow time units. Whoops, my output module didn't expect a number that high. Commander, I take it you're still admiring the new disco? I can see no other explanation for the fact that you still have not yet hired a Celebramer so you can use the room. Commander, the black hole drop has completed construction. Very good, Commander, you have hired a Celebramer to work in the disco. This fun-loving species will now ensure that the other more introverted aliens get their money's worth. Commander, you've managed to generate the required amount of energy through the Starcats Cafe. A minor achievement, but nonetheless an achievement for a carbon-based creature. Very well, Commander, I'll make sure that opportunities to visit the disco are optimized. Commander, you've set up a berth. A good idea, considering it's the cornerstone of a sound base of operations. Commander, I hope you should know that there are anti-fun demonstrators in this galaxy who try to sabotage our work. It appears explosives have been placed on the fun deck. You might want to look into that. Commander, it would appear that something has lured energy thieves aboard. Logically, this makes it more difficult for you to fulfill. An energy absorber has been placed on the station, Commander. Excellent, Commander. Your fuzzies will immediately begin the transformation. I hope you have considered the consequences of this decision carefully, Commander. Startopia's current average rating is on the whole rather positive. Interesting. Commander, a group of radical party poopers from Partirius 22 has come aboard and planted bombs on your fun deck. Rest assured, I am in no danger. Short and sweet, Commander. Commander, you have generated enough energy through those ridiculous loot box hats to achieve the given goal. Congratulations. Maybe we should think about selling the aliens trading cards, which they can then resell for a fee. Commander, you've finally managed to reach half of the disco visitors designated for this scenario. Fortunately for you, the time limit I suggested was not applied to the scenario. Commander, a visitor to the station has died. There is fighting aboard Startopia.
Oh, what?
Your energy core is under attack. I'm amazed, Commander. You have generated as much energy with the arcade as this simple test scenario requires. Congratulations. The energy core is taking damage. Your energy core is under attack. The energy core is taking damage. Enemies are attacking the energy core. Warning, Commander. Saboteurs have placed explosives on Startopia. You should search the fun deck. Commander, I suppose it is safe to assume that you have now understood how HEDs are used to influence visitors.
Personnel file note likes to influence visitors with unauthorized devices.
Commander, more than half the visitors like Startopia. At least it's a start. Commander, bombs have been transported on... Commander, you have established a medical station. An excellent idea.
Oh my god, I only need one more. One more at the disco.
Congratulations, Commander.
Yeah.
You actually survived the test scenario. Oh, and there's one more point I need to address. From now on, I will of course not give you any more encouragement.
Alright. That's going to be it for now, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and take a break. But we'll come back with something else here in a little bit. Y'all take it easy, and I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'll see you next